Mr. Krueger, what do you think about what Bill Gross had to say?
Doctor Krueger.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Mr. works. I'm
Senor.
okay with that.
Senor.
Alan works.
Professor.
You know, I'm not convinced that the new normal is quite as radically different from what we've had before. I think if we make the right policy steps, we could get back to a more normal type of environment. In terms
Just
of
a
interest rates.
normal. Just a plain old normal.
Yeah, something much closer to normal.
So what do you think the Fed's reaction will be to this? I mean, do we see a rate increase pushed back now?
I think that this will have relatively little effect on the Fed's decision. I think it probably leans a little bit towards moving a little bit later. I say that because the wage number was so weak. On the other hand, the employment cost index is up 2.8% in the last 12 months. That's a better measure of wage pressures. The headline number suggests that the economy is continuing to recover at about the same pace. The drop in the unemployment rate was, I think, a positive development. The Doves will be concerned that the labor force participation rate fell by 0.3 of a point. On the other hand, I think that's probably driven by demographics and discouragement of the long-term unemployed.
By the way, the Fed looks at, obviously, it has two mandates, jobs and inflation. Is wage growth the best way, or the way that the Fed now prefers to look at inflation?
I think it looks at a broad portfolio. It looks at actual realization of inflation. You know, it looks at core PCE.
Milk and bacon and gas.
Home prices, which are a big part of it, frankly. Right. It takes the exchange rate into account because that affects our inflation. And it looks at wage pressure because so much of the U.S. economy is services and their costs are driven by wages.
Obviously, the jobs number matters a lot to Fed Chair Janet Yellen, but how much attention does she need to pay to China, Greece, Puerto Rico?
I think she needs to pay a lot, and I'm sure she does. I think not only because of the effect on employment and inflation in the U.S., but probably more importantly because the Fed has become our de facto agent when it comes to financial risk. And what's going on in Greece is obviously a major financial risk for the U.S. economy.
Well, should that be, I mean, if that is the Fed's de facto role, should it be?
Well, I think that financial stability affects the Fed's dual mandate. Frankly, I could see a case for adding financial stability to the Fed's mandate, but Congress, I don't think, is going to do that. But even looking at the mandate as it is, obviously another financial crisis will not be good for stable prices or maximum employment.
Professor Krueger, New Jersey native. Appreciate you joining us today.
My pleasure.
What an honor.
Yeah, I wish you could stay here.
Love having you on the White House lawn, but I'm going to say I like you a whole lot more right here on the set.
You know, it's much easier here than the White House lawn because the sun at this hour in the morning is right in your eyes from the White House, from those cameras.
But kind of cool to have an office in the White House, right?
Well, it's pretty cool to be standing out in front of the White House and speaking on behalf of the president. I can say there's really no more important honor that I've had in my career.
All right, and you did a great job.
Probably not that cool the days you forget your ID. It's just like a pain.
I'm sure that they recognize Professor Krueger. Thank you so much for joining us.